As we see these scenes, worth noting how much security there typically is in Jerusalem, and for this to have occurred will have shocked many people.
Yeah, there's a great deal. I mean, there was an attack about a year ago in November in Jerusalem at a bus stop, and then before that there was an attack in Tel Aviv in 2023. But there's only been a couple, so this is the third in 3 years, and you would expect that there might have been a lot more, but it does show how tight the security is, given the tensions that there are across the whole of the West Bank. And this is undoubtedly very shocking to the Israeli public. It can't be so surprising, though, because the tension is so high, and the ability to get on buses with guns is not, you don't need to be that clever to do it. You just have to be prepared to die, because you're certainly not going to survive from what will happen. And what's interesting from some of the accounts is that the attackers were shot by some civilians who seem to have been armed, as well as police and IDF as and when they arrived. I mean, we don't quite know what the sequence of it was, but these guys didn't last very long once they opened fire, which also does indicate the number of firearms that are in circulation amongst the general public, and the number of Israeli civilians who are militia, are reservists or members of a militia and trained to use firearms.
And whilst this situation developed, there was then also reports in southern Israel of sirens and airspace infiltrations, as I think it was being deemed and termed by the military, of a drone, at least one, potentially two, launched from Yemen at the country.
Yes, and this would be the Houthis making the most of the situation. They could launch drones fairly quickly, even though it's a long way. I mean, it's 1,400 miles, 1,400 miles, 220,000 kilometres up the Red Sea. So it's quite a long way. Nevertheless, the Houthis never miss an opportunity to try to add their destructive voice to all of this, because they have been arguing since the 7th of October 2023, when the initial Hamas atrocity occurred, that they are the only people supporting the Palestinians of Gaza. And they've done that through attacks on shipping in the bottom half of the Red Sea, and with occasional drone and missile attacks on Israel. Israel has fended them all off. I mean, I think a couple of their missiles did land in southern Israel, but they haven't done any damage to anything. And the Israelis almost always shoot them down, and then they retaliate against Sana'a in Yemen, or the port of Hodeidah, which is what I would expect them to do this time.
I guess you referenced there the distance that gives the IDF and the Israeli authorities a long time to track those targets.
Yes, they can always see them coming. Drones can only travel at the speed of most of a normal aircraft, 600 miles an hour. Most of them are a lot slower than that. So they certainly see them coming, and one or two drones are pretty easy to intercept. I mean, the Houthis would have had to send a lot more to have a chance of getting through, or to send a ballistic missile right after a couple of drones. They might just have fooled the defences. But it's very difficult, I mean, because they're so far away. So they would have known that this was a symbolic act, but they will claim, and they'll get a certain amount of credit for it across the Arab world, that at least the Houthis are hitting back when these things happen.
Micheal, appreciate it. Thank you so much.